Today's spotlight is on Ray Salem. Born in Jordan as a teen, he moved to the United States. He went on to get a degree in criminology from California State University and then a master's in psychology while serving in the U.S. Air Force Reserve. Later, he spent years as a social worker, eventually working for Child Protection Services in the Investigation Service Unit. In 2016, Ray started authenticatepro to fix the counterfeit merchandise problem. He is a man who loves to help and solve big problems. Ray, thanks for joining me today on Spotlight.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, Logan.
My pleasure. It seems like your whole life was building to the moment of starting authenticatepro. You came from Jordan, you settled in the United States, and then you started building your career along the lines of investigation and criminology. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I always wanted to be in law enforcement, so that's why I joined the military, United States Air Force. So my undergrad was in criminal justice, and while I was doing my undergrad, I started selling items on eBay. Mm-hmm. And I noticed there was a lot of items are counterfeit on the site. eBay, they're not doing it on purpose, but unfortunately, there's a lot of bad actors out there, but there's a lot of good ones too.
Right.
But the sad thing is a lot of good sellers were sucked into the mix of the bad sellers. And now they're competing with prices is irrelevant because they're selling an authentic item and they're competing with a fake item. And so that became problematic and it gotten worse and worse. So then I continued to grad school, became a social worker. I was a investigator. I'm the one who knocks on the door to see if there's anything happening at the house.
Exactly. You're the one you don't want knocking at the door, but thank God for the children, you are the one knocking at the door.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah. I continued to sell online and noticed the problem got bigger and bigger and bigger. I was like, you know what? Somebody needs to fix this. So I finally went all in and we started the model and just growing beyond belief. Right now we have about maybe 440 beta users. 300 of them are very active. We have a big contract with a couple of big stores. They're using us on a regular basis, and we're growing exponentially. And we're ready to launch a new app. Hopefully soon, within the next 90 days. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm sure. Now, is that app more for the consumer or more for the seller?
That's the beauty thing about it is we cover the consumer, we cover the seller, we even bring in the expert into the mix because we certify them, we test them, we interview them, we bring them onto the platform. Basically, we're a marketplace for people to go make sure the item is authentic. We provide the expert, we handle the whole transaction from A all the way to Z.
Awesome. So let's say I love watches, but I don't know if my Rolex or my Breitling is authentic. I buy it on eBay. The people send me the box. It looks real, a certificate of authenticity. But I guess I'm in the same position that a lot of shoppers are in. It's how do you know if it's real or not? And that's where authenticatepro comes in.
Absolutely. Each brand has their own specific protocols, like the bags, the shoes. An expert can spot a fake very easily, and we give people access. Watches, they're a different protocol. Watches, the expert requires they have to touch it. They have to open it.
Right.
So, and we're not ready for that phase yet, but I'm really excited to launch it. Hopefully within the next 12 months, we will have approved authenticatepro expert location. So the seller of the watch will walk in his watch into an approved expert location, and they lock our patented zip tie on it that has a unique serial number, and eventually will have a GPS system on it connected to the watch.
Great.
You, the buyer, get it in the mail, make sure it matches the same pictures that the seller had, and with the information connected to that specific watch. So when you get it in the mail, you can track it online. Oh, it is coming from Texas, not from anywhere else in the world, because anybody can steal a picture. So we minimize that. So you get the exact item that you're bidding on or buying. So we're changing the whole way of thinking when you buy an item. You request authentication before you buy, and that will definitely become the standard.
It's an exciting time. I mean, so much of our retail now is online, so we don't actually get to pick it up and look at it. Even if I did pick up and look at it, I don't know if it's real or not. I remember bringing in a watch for a new watch band, and when I gave it to the jeweler, I found out quickly it wasn't a real watch.
Yes.
But a lot of us are lured in by price. If the price is too good to be true, assume it is too good to be true, right? Right?
Absolutely. But also at the same time, that's part of the problem. If there's a consumer, they're not very familiar with a specific brand, they only base it on price.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's fake or real based on price. Because there's a lot of stores, like there's one company that we deal with, they're a nonprofit. So they take in a lot of items that people donated. Mm-hmm. They don't know if it's real or not. They're selling for $100, but somebody they know, they go and sell it on eBay for $2,000.
Right.
The price does not mean it's fake or not. And that's where the problem lands. Let me walk you through a scenario. Mm-hmm. You walk to a store and you see a bag that is $2,000 normally, but you see it for sale for $300. If you're not very familiar with that brand, there's a big red flag going up in your head. Like, oh, it can't be real. Believe it or not, that's not benefiting the seller.
Right.
But what if a third party, like my company, a brand expert, said it was authentic? Would that change the whole game? And we're unbiased because our reports are public. Everything is transparent. So you know exactly who the expert is, where was it purchased, and you get the report right there and then, just in case when you go back home celebrating that bag or that watch and telling people that you got a good deal on it, because they will question you. How much did you pay for it? And if you paid a little bit less, you know what they're going to say. Oh, it can't be real. Like, no, wait, I had somebody authenticate it, and that will kill all the bad information.
That's awesome. Now you're coming out with a new app. Currently you have an app as well, correct?
Yes, it's a starter app. We just want to test as more of a beta phase to see the traction that we have, and we're picking up a lot of traction. So we need to update it and get it up to the masses very soon.
Absolutely. And are you looking, when you look to the future, do you look towards retailers or do you look to consumers, or is it both? Because both benefit and both lose.
The beauty thing about the new updated app, it approaches between a buyer, seller, or an expert. So if you come in as a buyer, we design the whole platform, just make it really simple for you. We even call it real or not, because you just want to get an answer. That's what it's called, real or not. That's the app, the version of the app for the buyers. Sellers, they just want to make sure they're selling the right item. They want to give a guarantee to the consumer just to give them extra peace of mind, or a report. And also the expert, that's an extra, like if you're a watch expert yourself, we test you, we interview you, and we put you into the system. So in reality, that's extra income for you. So if you know something you're really good at, you get into our system, then you help others. And the report is very public. So everybody sees it and everybody votes on it. So everybody has a point of view, especially we put our eyeballs on a certain item, we get to the truth. And I think we get to the truth about 99% of the time. And that's our goal.
Ray, handbags tend to be a big luxury item for women, and they often are fake. So this looks like it's one of the focuses of your business.
We cover over 90 brands. That includes bags, watches, jewelry, hopefully watches in the near future, because there's a lot of experts. Their expertise is very niche. So every time there's a niche comes up, we program it, or we have certain protocols for every single brand. So we make sure we get to the truth, because eventually when we put it on under the spotlight, the truth will come out, especially with a transparency and public as we are. And that's our goal.
And people don't realize just the extent of this problem, but it is a multi-trillion-dollar problem in the United States. Tell me about that.
And it's getting worse every single year. It's a huge problem, and it's connected to human trafficking, child labor, slavery. That's what drove me into this. Like, I got to fix this. This is a horrible problem. And believe me, there's a lot of bad actors, and that's their entire business, and they'll defend it. So we're really fighting a dark force here beyond belief. So that's why we're going gun blazing, and we're going at it.
Awesome. You're the man for the job. You've had the background, like we said. You've been in the Air Force Reserves, studied criminology, studied psychology. So you're approaching this from every angle, it seems, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And we're making a lot of progress. And I couldn't do it by myself. The experts, my team, my developers, my CTO, we have I would say a small army. It's not just by myself, and I couldn't do it by myself. So I'm really excited to move forward with them because we're definitely making progress.
Awesome. Well, Team Authenticate Pro is on your side to the consumers out there who are worried about their handbag or whatever luxury item they buy, whether it's real or fake. We'll keep an eye out for your app. It's exciting news. Ray Salem, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Logan. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Ray's company, once again, is Authenticate Pro. Their slogan is, "In God we trust. Everything else, we authenticate." You can find out more at authenticatepro.com or on their app. I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time. This time, until next time.